I'm in Georgia Pinhoti section 28. Just climbing up out of Dennis Mill Trailhead. I'm in the Blue Ridge Mountains now. This beautiful old growth forest. And I just got to this spot. It's switchbacks coming up off the trailhead. And I found this little picture frame overlooking the valley, which is beautiful today. It's a little foggy still this morning, even though I got a late start. It's still pretty overcast. It rained a bunch last night. But back into the forest. And I'm excited because I learned some of the wildflowers this morning that are out here, so I can keep an eye out for them. But beautiful, cool day to be back out in the forest on the Georgia Pinhoti Trail. I'm about a mile and a half north of the Dennis Mill Trailhead on Georgia Pinhoti section 28. Look at this amazing spot. It is so beautiful here. This is another confluence, two creeks coming in together. This would be a sweet little hike and out and back for someone who just wanted to get into the forest and do a little camping. There's a little swimming hole, which I'm sure is delightful when it's hotter. And that's the trail going southbound. There's a small campsite here, although I guess you could pop tents on either side of the trail with a fire ring. Here already, probably not particularly useful right now since everything's soaking wet, but this would be a beautiful spot to come and hang out near these gorgeous creeks in the Blue Ridge Mountains on the Chattahoochee National Forest, section 28 of the Georgia Pinhoti Trail. I'm a little more than a third of the way through Georgia Pinhoti section 28. I came up the Dennis Mill Trailhead this morning. It's been a beautiful walk today through the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I just crossed this. My feet are dry. My shoes and socks are still wet. I got a bunch more stream crossings today though. So I figured I'd sit here for a minute and enjoy this. So I think the stream crossings I'm coming up on are accessible by road. This one I have to myself. And it's just gorgeous. I'm in Georgia Pinhoti section 28 at Baker Branch. I have been wandering around this crossing for about the last half hour trying to figure out where the hell I was supposed to cross. I got across. I got wet, unfortunately, because it's freezing cold out here. And it's supposed to be below freezing temperatures tonight. And I also can't figure out where the trail is supposed to pick up on the other side. The guide said you enter a wildlife opening, which I did. It's over there. You turn right, you exit the wildlife opening and ford the creek, and then the next direction is like 0.7 miles away, saying you go up a hill. I have no idea where this trail is. It's so frustrating. This is where I would like to have a gut hook guide, and unfortunately that's supposed to be me. I looked at the MacKaye map and it says that the trail generally follows upstream and then off to the eastern branch of Baker, but I don't even see how on this side of the trail you can follow up it. And the topo shows a fairly flat area. Now it's starting to rain. And I'm stuck down here with no idea where to go. Holy crap, this is not ideal. There are no blazes anywhere on this side, and there aren't any blazes. There's a blaze across the wildlife opening for southbounders that would indicate that the crossing is somewhere up here, but all there is on the other side is cliffs that go directly down into the water, and no evidence of trail anywhere. Down here on the creek itself, there aren't any blazes anywhere. Incredibly frustrating, and I am stuck in here with no idea what to do. Luckily it's a beautiful spot, but still my feet are soaking wet. I really don't care to cross this branch again to try and figure it out, because I walked around on the other side of this branch for a good half hour trying to see where I was supposed to go with no luck. And as you can see over there, it's fairly overgrown. There's no evidence of trail anywhere. What the heck? So I've been at Baker Branch. I've crossed it like 4 times trying to find the trail, going by the guide that said enter the wildlife opening and turn right. And instead, the blaze is way, I believe it's way over there. So in fact, you veer left across this giant field. I've been wandering around, crossing back and forth to the right down there, and finally just started walking upstream, trying to find the trail on the other side, because it's easier to walk upstream from the nearer side, the south side. And I finally just ran into, ta-da! But it is impossible to see this from the other side. I'm not even sure I see the blaze on the other side of this wildlife opening. But as you can see, there's nothing anywhere that would note, that would show. You can see a little bit of track here, but this field is completely overgrown in the middle. That this is where the trail is. That would be a good tree to have a blaze on, or that tree. But instead, I've just been walking around here freezing myself to death, trying to figure out where to go on this trail. Finally, I found it. It's already 6:15. Oh my God. I'm about ready to call it a day practically. My feet are freezing. Anyway, onward. I'm getting into the last couple of miles of Georgia Pinhoti section 28. And the guide says that the middle 3 miles of this section is road walk, but unless they're talking about the Forest Service roads I've been walking, which have been dirt and away from civilization, I'm not sure what they mean, because I'm almost to the end. I know there's a little road walk on highway at the end of this section, but I just turned off the forest road that I think they meant was a road walk, which wasn't that bad at all. It's a Jeep road, but you're not on it for terribly long. And now I'm on this, behind this gated road, so there's nobody here. And it's beautiful. This morning it's cold, but I can see a lot of the mountains, and when I'm walking it's not that bad. Oh, I am almost to Cohutta Outlook, or Overlook. And in a little bit I'll be going into Mulberry Gap and visiting the Mulberry Gap Outfitters. They have hot meals. I'm very excited about that, especially after freezing my tail off last night and this morning. I'm in Georgia, section 29, a couple miles north of Mulberry Gap. I'm on a ridge right now. There's some pretty nice views through the trees of the surrounding mountains. It's a perfect day for hiking. This is a really pretty section. It's pretty cruiser as well, kind of like the section around Cohadic Overlook. Anyway, oh, there's more mountains over there. Ooh, it's just beautiful up here. And I love this old growth forest. And it looks like there's some new pine growth up here. And wildflowers are starting to go crazy. Angie Hicks, who runs the Dennis Mill Cabins with her husband Rick, is a genius with all of the plants up here. I wish I had videoed her showing me all of the wildflowers. They have a ton on their property, which backs up to the Chattahoochee National Forest, which is where I am on the Conasauga Ranger District. You're getting hiker cam now, basically, other than having to look at my feet to see where I'm going. This is a little bit of section 29. This is a popular section with mountain bikers, Mulberry Gap outfitters, which is they call themselves a mountain bike getaway. It's about a half-mile off trail at Mulberry Gap. That place is amazing. Oh my gosh, I had the best hot lunch there. And they have really good beer. So I highly recommend them. The staff there, Palmer, Brian, and Jenny, that I met today, were all super friendly and helpful and nice. And if I had had more time, if I had more money, I would have stayed for dinner. Apparently on Sunday they do brisket tacos, which sounds amazing. Oop. So here's another shot of the mountains before I go back up into another little climb, because nobody really wants to hear me heavy breathing. In section 30 of the Georgia Pinhoti Trail, about halfway into the section almost. This is Bear Creek. It's a beautiful part of the trail. This creek's awesome. I was actually here at the campground last year when I was van dwelling, and I was adopted by a Spanish rooster in the campground. Alas, I didn't make it into the campground. It's a little bit off trail, but it is a really nice campground here on the Conasauga Ranger District of the Chattahoochee National Forest in Georgia. And the Bear Creek Loop Trail comes around here. I'm actually on the Bear Creek Loop Trail now. It shares some track with the Pinhoti. I'll be stepping off it soon, but I just wanted to show you what a beautiful creek this is that ultimately runs down through the campground. Okay, this has got to be my favorite blaze I've seen on this trail. On this downed, phallic-looking tree laying across the trail. Hello, Pinhoti. I'm at the Hetty Creek crossing in Georgia Pinhoti section 30. There's another confluence down there. This creek is pretty wide. That's the trail. I'm definitely getting wet. Woo! In section 30 of the Georgia Pinhoti, this section is beautiful. There's water everywhere, tons of biodiversity. The trail's pretty chill, although I know I'm hitting the high spot on the entire Pinhoti soon, and I've been down low, so I got a climb coming. But I just saw these waterfalls. I've had to do 2 creek crossings where I was just accepting the fact that it was going to get wet. And then I came around the corner and saw this. Super beautiful. And I'm going to be crossing that stream again, or that creek again, upstream of this cascade in just a minute. But it actually feels pretty good on my feet. And it's really cold, clean, fresh water. The water out here is just delicious. So, here's my crossing. Here's the trail, pick up on the other side. Whew. That looks slippery and fast. Thank goodness there's a handrail here. This should be fun. See you on the other side. So this is the heavy branch crossing I just did. It's a potentially very dangerous creek crossing. It's probably in between 10, maybe 15 feet, 20 feet crossing at the actual trail. But the water's running really fast and high right now because it's been raining a lot lately. So you can see the rush there. That's where the water's going fast. And it's over a rock shelf that was super slippery. And the tree that's there is actually well to the inside of the most shallow part of the crossing. So this would have been a good crossing just to have somebody with for moral support, and also to collect me if I got swept downstream maybe. But what I ended up doing was climbing over on that tree branch, or Hail Mary, and then hopping up onto this larger branch and just slowly scooching across over the water. Definitely messy, but nobody fell, nobody got hurt. And my pack stayed dry, other than my feet from the other water crossings. So did I. Whew. This is a fun trail. I am enjoying these challenges. You get a little bit of everything. I'm in Georgia Pinhoti section 30. And the sun's trying to shine. Oh my goodness, I feel like it's so long since I saw the sun. I'm still walking up. It's Crenshaw branch, not Hetty. But basically just following it upstream. And this is just a beautiful section of trail. It's really wet and slippery today because it's been raining. It rained last night. Everything's wet and slippery and dirty. But I would rather be no place but where I am right now. Oh, I missed the sun. Yay! I'm at Betty Cove Gap, which is the end of section 30 on the Georgia Pinhoti Trail. Less than 4 miles left on the trail before I'm done. This is the high spot on the entire Pinhoti at 3,164 feet. Hard to imagine, but I'm going to be done soon. I'm in section 31, the most northerly and final section for me of the Georgia Pinhoti. Today has been the wettest, dirtiest, muddiest day so far on the trail. The sun has been fighting a mostly losing battle to come out. So for the most part, it's been a slow day because it's slippery and wet out here. Tons of creek and water crossings. And my life has become a long series of adding and removing layers. But I'm in the final stretch. This last section is nice and quiet and peaceful. The first bit, maybe a mile or so, is down a road that's closed, and I quote, "for the benefit of wildlife." I finally saw my first bear poop. Keep hearing that they're out here, but I haven't heard or seen any yet. That was my first evidence of bear on trail. Oof, so slimy. But anyway, I'll be hitting the Benton MacKaye intersection soon, and that'll be the end of the Pinhoti Trail, the Pinhoti National Recreation Trail, and the Georgia Pinhoti Trail, which is the state's longest trail. It's been fun these last few sections especially. Some really nice views of the mountains through the trees today. Okay, so I can report that Cold Creek indeed lives up to its name. That was freezing, but I got across safely, staying nearest to the shallowest rocks. The worst part of this creek crossing was this quicksand, like mud, that sucked my shoes off once I got to the other side. Yay! Anyway, not as bad as the Florida swamps, but definitely I'm gonna need some new shoes after this trail. Well, I made it. After that cold crossing and a slippery slog up a muddy hill, I made it to the northern terminus of the Pinhoti Trail. And I'm now sitting at the intersection of the Benton MacKaye, which I see has white diamond blazes. I'll be following all the way to Springer. I can't believe it. It seems sort of anticlimactic that this trail ends in the middle of nowhere, but hey, it is what it is, even though I wish I was having a frosty beer right now. Instead, I'm letting my shoes air out a little bit. They are horrible. And I'm getting ready to have a big meal. I'm putting beef jerky and potato chips on that because I am starving. I am so hungry. But hey, I have successfully hiked the Pinhoti Trail, the entire trail, and thru-hiked the Georgia Pinhoti. So that's the longest trail in Georgia. I'm super excited. I don't know what the exact mileage is yet, but with bonus miles, I'm guessing over 350. And from here, I'll be heading this way. Oh, the sun wants to come out finally. Yay! I'll be heading south on this trail, the Benton MacKaye. You can see the diamond blaze all the way to Springer. I'll see you soon.